Brandel, what's your sense of all of this?
Well, I think the game's pretty darn lucky to have so many, I think, educated voices that are figuring prominently in the future of the PGA Tour. Not only while they're busy establishing their own legacies. You're talking about Rory McIlroy. What a great voice he's proven to be, and you just heard it right there. How do you get the best players with the hottest players and get the best stories? In a sense, I feel like what they've done is I've heard people criticize the no-cut, the smaller field. I've heard people criticize that and say it's a bit like LIV. Obviously, we disagreed about that a lot last night. It's 72 holes, first of all, and it's 70 to 80 players, second of all. But really what I think they've tried to do is create the unique environment of the Masters. A lot goes into the Masters, obviously. The golf course has a lot to do with the Masters being what it is. The production of the Masters has a lot to do with it. And I'm talking about TV, but I'm also just talking about the colors of the place, the music of the place, the reverence in the place, the way people react and work their way around that golf course. That has a lot to do with it. But somewhere on that list is the smallest, most elite field. Yes, they pay respect to amateurs, and yes, they pay respect to foreign past champions. But more than that, they want a small, elite field. And so it delivers consistently recognizable names that are compelling. So if you think about what the PGA Tour has done, I feel like they've created, in essence, a similar system to give us something along the lines of the Masters. Look, the first three events of the designated events were 3-0, off to a great run of great stars, some underdog stories factoring into it, but very compelling golf. And it looks like we're going to get that consistently as we work our way through these designated events.
I noticed you turned to me when you said no cuts because you knew that.
A lot of people have that issue.
Well, I'm still concerned about it. Look, overall, I think these changes are great. It was inevitable. It was going to happen. It just got moved up in terms of a time frame faster because of LIV Golf. But the no-cut thing does still concern me, and I'll tell you why. When I take a look at the PGA Tour as an entire season, the most boring days of the PGA Tour to me were Thursday, Friday of the World Golf Championships. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, there are a lot of players in that field that didn't belong in the field because of the skewed world rankings to certain tours. But I really just felt like everything was pretty flat on Thursday and Fridays, and you lose that element of having to make the cut. I believe that is a fundamental element in this game for most tournaments, and I'm not convinced that that's the correct thing for that to almost totally go away.
Yeah, I'll just push back a little bit and say, look, it's rare, first of all, when somebody has a chance and then they're on the cut line that they end up factoring into the golf tournament at the end. But I think you ask yourself, why was there a cut originally in PGA Tour events? You want to create as much opportunity as possible for as many players as possible. Well, they do that with the 32 other events, second-tier events, non-designated events, whatever you want to call them. So there's the opportunity there, and also because there just simply wasn't enough money to go around. There was a time, and I played the tour, when you could actually make the cut, play all 4 days, and not get paid if you finished in the last 20 or so. So there is obviously plenty of money to go around. There is plenty of opportunity. So are cuts not really an antiquated homage to the past when you start to look at them? What other sports gets rid of half of their stars if they play mediocre in the first half of a football game or a baseball game or a basketball game? You've paid your money to come watch the best players in the world, and now they're gone on the weekend. That's a hard sell to a lot of people when you think about it, you know, one by one by one.
Well, let me just push back a little bit on that.
Okay.
I really believe that on Friday, there's a sense of urgency when you have a cut. And as golf tries to grow the game itself and its audience, and the audience is getting younger, having instant gratification is going to be really important to people. And I just always saw some sort of result on a Friday when there was going to be a cut. What is going to differentiate Friday from anything else on the PGA Tour when there's no cut? It'll be just another round, and I think losing that sense of urgency to make a cut will be a big element.
But just remember, though, it's only 11 events, and it may well only be 8 events.
Yep.
So there's 32 other events, the major championships, the players, and it may well be the legacy event. So it's just going to be a handful of events, which really isn't that many more than what the WGC was.
People wondering where the Tour find all this money. Purses have gone way up. The new television deal has kicked in, but I think we would all agree that much of what we're seeing is in response to what LIV has done and a way to funnel that money to the top players so they're not poached by the rival league. Do we all
Well, look,
agree
that's
on
my
that?
that's my only concern. In an effort to compete with LIV and elevate these purses, will the ratings, will the demographics support the raised purses? If it doesn't, then you need private equity. If private equity comes in, then I wonder is the tax-exempt nonprofit status, 503, 501c6 status, is that becoming in jeopardy? And then all of a sudden, is it possible then that philanthropy is not the foundation of the PGA Tour, but profit? The fact that they send the elevator back down now, because there are so many different pipelines to the PGA Tour, I think is the vitalizing aspect of the PGA Tour. That's my only concern about trying to compete with LIV as it relates to money.
A couple of things. The Tour held on to its most important asset in all of this, and that is Tiger Woods, and then Rory McIlroy, and on down the line. You and I were remarking this morning as we watched the streaming coverage, sun up to sundown, you can watch golf. Right?
Watch the best players in the world
on all the
day
various networks, and relative to what happened with LIV's telecast and very few eyeballs, this tour has the upper hand yet again, and it's a force to be reckoned with all the marketing might and all of the television power that it currently has at its disposal. Now with these new changes, it feels as though, you can beg to differ, feels as though they're getting their house in order.